What up? This is Ramashkin covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Avatar: The Way of Water. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell, so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. Let's rock this. Avatar: The Way of Water is a visual splendor. At times breathtaking, other times intense. Round 2 of Quaritch vs. Jake Sully keeps me on the edge of my seat. I really like this sequel much more than I did the first film. I really think that this is a better installment by comparison. Massive and action-packed. Avatar: The Way of Water is this year's biggest, most cinematic thrill ride adventure. Yeah, the runtime is more than 3 hours long, but to be fair, James Cameron never directed a film that runs less than 2 hours. They were almost always 2 hours plus, or close to 3 hours, and this new one happens to exceed that. Now, do I wish Avatar: The Way of Water had had some kind of intermission? Of course! Did I go to the restroom a number of times during the screening of this film? Of course I did. I'm not a robot. But the bigger, most important question is, did I fall asleep, or does this film feel so long that it puts me to sleep? And the answer is no. And it's because I was so immersed in the world building, in the grand spectacle, in the riveting story, so much so that those 3 hours and 12 minutes did not bother me one bit. Scripted by James Cameron and Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver and directed by James Cameron, produced by James Cameron and John Landau, in Avatar: The Way of Water, set more than a decade after the events of the first film, Avatar: The Way of Water begins to tell the story of the Sully family, Jake, Neytiri, and their kids, the trouble that follows them, the lengths they go to keep each other safe, the battles they fight to stay alive, and the tragedies they endure. Starring Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, and Kate Winslet. Now, if you recall, even though the first Avatar movie resonated with a lot of people, and box office-wise, it became all-time highest grossing film, it even toppled James Cameron's previous record with Titanic, but the film also got mocked for the fact that the story is basically like a carbon copy of Fern Gully, Pocahontas, and Dances with Wolves. I mean, just keeping it real, the first Avatar broke a lot of grounds on so many levels as far as cinema was concerned, but the story was not original. Now, this one on the other hand, Avatar: The Way of Water, is partly a suspenseful revenge journey, which I am a sucker for, as you all know. If in the first movie Jake Sully assimilated or adapted into the life of the Na'vi, well here, it's Jake Sully and his entire family adapting into the life of the Water Tribe, who are basically Na'vi themselves but with somewhat amphibian physical attributes. Their skin color is also lighter blue, and the adaptation process this time is much more substantive and complete and profound, with the kids facing peer pressure, and there's also the father-son's tough love dynamics. So this movie is also partly a compelling, well-examined, and deeply moving coming-of-age tale. And the performances are not too shabby either, especially by the actors who play Jake Sully's kids. Now, the whole Sigourney Weaver playing teenager Kiri does look weird at first, but Kiri eventually grows on you, and Kiri is more or less the group's reluctant oracle, if you will. Perhaps we can give credit to the fact that this time James Cameron did not write the script all on his own like he did in the first movie. This time he had help from a couple of other notable screenwriters whom he bounced ideas off of in terms of character motivations and storytelling structure. Now, the dialogues are still a bit shoddy, but at least the story is a lot more meaningful this time. The wow factor in Avatar: The Way of Water is also less about the outer space and the Hallelujah Mountains, and more about those spectacular underwater sequences. Now, some of you have asked me what did I think about this film's high frame rate. I personally and generally don't have a problem with such method. which has been used by other filmmakers as well, including Peter Jackson, just as long it's meant to accentuate the 3D aesthetics, which this movie does. Now, I'm not technologically savvy, but some people have complained that HFR makes the images on the screen look too glossy or too smooth, like a video game instead of a movie. Yeah, I can see that, but you know what? I don't mind it at all, because the HFR 3D just makes those underwater and flying scenes more thrilling than they already are. Look, the same James Cameron who gave you The Abyss and Aliens of the Deep, once again with this movie, invites you to fall in love with the ocean. This film's environmental message is really strong without it being too preachy. And the final 30 minutes is basically a war movie between impressive advanced weaponry and a combo of tribes with their intelligent whales. And trust me, this battle is a sight to behold. It is one for the books. It's stunning, it's heroic, and emotionally powerful all at once. Avatar: The Way of Water, what a magnificent sequel. An all-around awestruck wonder.